So I definitely have mixed opinions about that. I'm both excited. Also, don't think that's the right move at the moment. We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
Good evening, folks. Welcome to the Game Reserve. My name is Jagger Newman. I'm Warren these parts, and tonight I have two guests. One of them you can see, and the other you can't. The one you can see is none other than Professor Tempo herself, the lovely Miss Lois.
No.
And the one you can't see is a regular on the channel, none other than Steffi, the MLG Panda.
What's up? What's up?
And tonight we are playing Silent Hill 2, specifically the remake. This game was released, it was 2024, I think. And it's, of course, a remake of the seminal survival horror classic, Silent Hill 2. So, you know, the original Silent Hill 2, it really was the peak of the series. And, like, unfortunately, after it came out, Konami started making a lot of really dumb business moves regarding the series. So they were trying to recapture the magic of Silent Hill 2, but they could just never do it. They could never capture that magic in a bottle again. And then Silent Hill Downpour comes out along with the Month of Madness, which was a month packed with a bunch of releases in the Silent Hill series. And that ended up being a huge failure for Konami. So they put the series in the attic, and though there was an attempt to bring Silent Hill back with Silent Hills, the guy in charge of that project was Hideo Kojima, who would go through a really bad breakup with Konami not too long after its announcement. We're still bitter about that, Konami, and you're not off the hook for that yet. But then it come the 2020s, and horror games are back in fashion. Resident Evil 7 brought back the horror, and Resident Evil 2 Remake perfected it. So remakes of old horror games were suddenly becoming a really popular thing. So people started requesting certain horror games, and the big one was, of course, Silent Hill 2, which eventually Konami would give us. But there was also a lot of debate amongst fans whether or not this game needed to be made, because Silent Hill 2 is sort of seen as like a holy material. Like there's still a lot of people who maintain that it is just perfect and doesn't need to be changed. Personally, I feel it needed to be made because, for starters, Silent Hill 2 is not a perfect game. It has aged horribly. So it made sense for them to do a remake of it. It was also good to start with the remake to reintroduce the series, because it meant they could focus on the personal horror as opposed to the occult horror of other games in the series. And most importantly, it needed to be made because they can't re-release the original game because it's lost media.
Oh.
Like, they lost the source code, so unless they just want to emulate the original game on newer hardware, like, they can't just remaster it. So yeah, a remake was necessary. What do you think about that, Steffi? Because Lois is new to this.
Yeah.
But what do you think? Did Silent Hill 2 need a remake?
I definitely think so, and I'm thinking back to when we played the original Silent Hill 2 on the channel, and we spent a good chunk of time criticizing the combat system. And I think that's ultimately what led to us like having to end the recording early, because we died because like James was not hitting like he was supposed to, and it was very frustrating. And so I am glad that they brought it back and fixed it up. Another reason too is that to make it more relevant, like if they re-release the original version, I feel like less people would play it. Like, it would be more for nostalgia, but with the remake, it appeals to newer gamers too.
Yeah, it's a valid point. I didn't even think of that, Steffi, because, you know, modern gamers aren't too accustomed to tank controls and fixed camera angles. So yeah, the remake needed to happen, and thankfully the remake was awesome. Like, it was exactly what I wanted from a Silent Hill 2 remake. And yeah, it's actually one I've been suggesting you and I play for a while now, Lois.
Right.
But I know why you're hesitant. Horror games are still kind of a new thing for you since you've started spending time with me. So Me and Steffi were planning to do this together. She's not going to be available on our usual Saturday nights. You were here tonight, so I thought, why not get two of my favorite people together and play Silent Hill 2 at the sort of an introduction for it to you. Steffi can help me comfort you if it gets too scary, and we can just have a good old time.
That's all.
What do you say, Steph? You ready to do this?
Sounds good to me. Let me just reach through the broadband and comfort Lois.
That's a good one, Steph.
Nice.
And right away, they're just nailing the recreation of James's introduction, which is just one of the most iconic in any video game, period. And they've added to it too. Like they're showing his hand shaking, he's touching them. And then it cuts to, our first good look at him. Still got the shadows over his eyes. He doesn't really look all that well. And by the way, Steffi, no spoilers.
I'm not going to spoil anything. I did have a question though. I feel like I remember you telling me that the original one, when they do this reflection scene, was like part of what made that so cool is that reflection technology and graphics was like brand new at the time. Is that right?
Oh, well, that cutscene was pre-rendered, so I don't think I said that. But it was just, a perfect introduction to James as a character.
Okay, maybe I'm thinking of something else then.
Yeah, and I apologize you can't really hear the sound right now, Lois. We have to keep the volume down so that, Steffi doesn't come back with feedback in the recording. But, yeah, so again, these graphics just look really good, and like they're recreating, basically the same setting that the original game opened with.
Yeah.
But the jump in graphics is just incredible for the time.
In my restless dreams, I see that town. Silent Hill.
Can we take a second to talk about the other remake of Silent Hill 2 that came out before this one?
No.
But you never did.
That's fair.
Well, I'm alone there now.
We will talk about that, but after this.
Waiting for you.
I mean, on the game preserve, we gotta acknowledge it at least.
Yeah. I hate it when she's right.
I mean, I'm eventually gonna have to play the first Mother game, which I'm dreading, but you made a point to me that I can't just jump into the second and third one in the series without covering the first.
Yeah.
Well,
It's ridiculous. Couldn't possibly be true. That's what I keep telling myself. Mary died of that damn disease 3 years ago.
But you're reading the subtitles, what James is saying.
Why am I looking for her? Our special
Can you guys not hear the game at all?
What could she mean?
Very faintly.
This whole town
I'm
was our
sorry.
special
It
place.
sounds just fine on my end.
Could Mary really be here?
see, it says that she
Is she
died
really
3 years
alive?
ago, but the ring finger has a really
Waiting
clear
for me.
tan line. So I'm like,
I've never noticed that before.
I'm kind of lost.
So one of the things that people idiotically complained about when this came out was they said that James was just, Leon Kennedy from the Resident Evil games, the hair and everything. But like that's very clearly not the case. I mean, he's got the sunken in eyes. He's somewhat disheveled. He's clearly not eating because if you look closely, you can see his clothes hanging off his body. He's lost weight, clearly. And he's slouching a little bit, too. So when I heard that they were doing a Silent Hill 2 remake, I was afraid that they would make the characters more appealing, more traditionally handsome or pretty. But the characters are still pretty much as they were in the original game. Imperfections and all. Some of them are even
I don't really care if it's dangerous.
a bit more grotesque than they were in the original game.
Why?
So Yeah, they just did a really good job recreating this game.
Mm-hmm.
And you, as someone who hasn't, seen the original game, like even you're saying that these graphics are pretty incredible, aren't they?
Oh yeah.
What do you say, Steph?
Yeah, I agree with that. And when we were playing this together the last time we were actually in person, I was like blown away by how good they did with the graphics. And even though it's a complete upgrade, it's still true to the original.
Mm-hmm.
And they also did a really good job with the voice acting too. Like the original Silent Hill, it was, still that time where they hadn't really figured out voice acting and stuff.
Mm.
So the characters sounded a little bit off.
Kind of like Resident Evil.
Basically, but it weirdly enough sounded off in a good way. Like a big theme of Silent Hill are characters who are dealing with mental issues, struggling with that sort of thing. And it sort of gave you a sense that there was something off about them. Now, whether or not that was intentional or was a happy accident, we're not going to get into.
Right.
But they redid the voice acting here, and they still had that same effect. So it sounds better, but the characters still sound a little offbeat, which I think is important for the experience. What do you think about the voice acting, Steph?
Yeah, I mean, I think it works both ways. And I think that you asked me about this before too. And there was some criticism that the girl he was just talking to, like she sounded like people were saying that she sounded more stable in the remake versus the original.
Mm.
And we were kind of debating that.
Like, she still sounds a little more stable, but there are still instances where there's like a crack in her voice, or she says something that comes off as a little childish, like saying she's looking for her mama. Like the way she says that, you can sort of look at that as like a crack in what little sanity she has left.
What jumped out to me is the way she was very quick to say, "I'm not lying."
Yes.
Right.
Because it is crazy.
So I think it works both ways. Like I like the older games where the voice acting isn't great, and it does seem like kind of disconnected because it works. Like it's part of the storytelling, but it also works the way they remade it too.
Well,
Like I feel like the original Silent Hill 2 is its own unique experience, and then the remake is also its own unique experience.
Yeah, and that's something that people really need to understand about remakes. It's not necessarily that they're trying to replace the original. It's more they're just trying to recreate something special from back in the day for a newer generation who probably won't appreciate it now. A lot of people complain about was the original game they used fixed camera angles, so I couldn't rotate the camera like this. Like it would be at this angle the entire time until I got to a point where it would shift. And a lot of people say, "Oh, well, it took out the fixed camera angles. That means the tight scares aren't there anymore." No, they recreate the scares to have the free camera. And I love this because like I can look around Silent Hill, and I remember when I first played this, I was just looking up at the skyline because I was just transfixed by the fog and how I could barely see things in the distance. It almost looks like you're looking at a Lovecraftian monster, which is sort of what this town of Silent Hill is. But we have some carnage right here. So let's see what James has to say about that.
What is this?
It's okay. It's going to be fine.
One of the things they did in this remake that I thought was pretty cool is that you can like actually go into like cars and get items. Like you can break the windows if you see an item in a car, and that definitely wasn't a thing in the original.
Now here's the radio. So the radio sort of acts like an alarm. The closer a monster is, the louder it'll be. And we have our first monster here. Alright, got my two before. It's time to do some freaking carpentry. Yeah, you hear it coming out of my control.
That's something I'm missing by being on Discord. I can't hear the controller.
Yeah, so one thing that they've definitely improved from the original is the combat. And one thing I really like about it, like, I was afraid that James would be too powerful in this game. But they've just made it simpler. You only have a melee strike, and you also have a dodge move. But the thing I like about the dodge is that it's not the equivalent of a boxer slipping a punch or sliding into range and delivering a counter punch. It feels more like James is dodging and he's just throwing himself out of the way of an attack. Because what often happens is you dodge as an enemy is going to attack and you lose sight of them because the camera doesn't stay on them. So it still feels clumsy, but it's more responsive than the original, which I really do praise it for because the combat in the original was really bad. So this whole section right here was something that they invented for the remake. And a lot of people took issue with this section because they thought it was unnecessary. However, like, my interpretation of it was it's more of James' story. Like this bar, the song he hears on this jukebox and stuff like that. It's something that he would often, a place he would frequent, explore, hang out at, before he met Mary. So it's our first puzzle, so we gotta get this jukebox to work. But we gotta get this record fixed first. So this is typically how things operate in a Silent Hill game. You go to an area, you find a puzzle of sorts that you have to complete, and then you have to explore the area to find the stuff needed to complete the puzzle. Experience how I usually describe the difference between a horror game and a horror movie is the horror movie is doing its job. If you're screaming at the characters as they go into an area that you know is dangerous, no, don't go in there, you're going to die. In Silent Hill, or a horror game in general, you know the game is doing a job if you're saying to yourself, I don't want to go in there. See, like, perfect example right here. I don't want to go in there.
No.
But nothing ventured,
And
nothing
then
gained.
there's that ominous hole in the bathroom, too.
And apparently James doesn't want to go in there either because there's something nasty.
Ugh.
No.
Ew.
Oh.
Yeah, so we're not going in there.
You don't have to go in there.
No. But do gotta stick our hand in the wall hole there.
That's worse. No, James.
I remember playing the original Silent Hill with my brother, and his comments on James not knowing anything about the game was, this guy doesn't seem too smart.
I mean, thank goodness you got something that will help you, but oh my God, that was not the smartest way to go about it.
And it made those gross sounds in there, too.
Oh yeah, you could hear that. It was...
I'm glad. I need to be able to go home tonight too.
Well, I've killed the monster so far, so... That's kind of why I prefer ranged combats in a horror game, because then the thought there is you're trying to keep these guys as...
Well,
You always double tap. Okay, so... Cha-ching. Okay, so before I get this, I just want to warn you, what comes next might be a little scary, okay? Just preparing you. Understand? Alright, here we go.
Boo.
Oh.
Steffi, let's try not to scare Lois. No jump scares. I've been resisting the urge to do that this whole time. Yeah.
Weren't you supposed to get something from inside of the car?
I thought so, but... And now, something very bad is going on here. So we gotta get to cover. Woodside Apartments is where we're supposed to be going. So yeah, I can't see anything
Will I
right
get
now.
to see how dark it is in the apartment?
I guess we could hang out in there for a little bit. We got 3 minutes left. But yeah, you see how the enemy count just jumped?
Yeah.
A lot more of these things. The street signs are... Silent Hill is upset with me right now.
Is your controller going like crazy?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I remember when I got to this part my first time playing, it was like, holy crap. This is it. So yeah, it's pretty...
Do you remember the very first time we played Silent Hill 2 and we could not find the flashlight?
Oh my god, that sucked.
Oh.
See, like, you can see how dark it gets over there, Steph. I can barely see on my end. And we're actually coming up on the top of the hour, Steph, so I think this would be a good place to call it for the night.
Okay.
Okay, so first of all, let's check on Lois. You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. For now.
So why don't we get the new girl's thoughts on all this? Based on what you saw, what do you think of Silent Hill 2?
It's gripping. And it's very well made. I mean, I think the way it tells story is really good. Like with that little bits you see in letters and whatnot, like you're trying to like construct a story in your mind already. So I think it like stimulates the player really well. And graphic is awesome. Everything's great. I don't know if I want to finish the game though. So.
Well, I would play it. You wouldn't play.
So.
All right. So yeah, Steffi, why don't we hear your thoughts on what you've seen of the remake so far?
And I'm in it. Like, I'm sad that we have to stop. I feel like the hour went by way too quickly.
It did go very quickly. Yeah.
As the only one here who has played the entirety of the remake, it's just excellent from start to finish. Like, the new stuff they added is great. It's like, yeah, the story is told a little bit differently, but the thematic content is still there. It's not like they tried to change the overall message of it. You know, they just tweaked some things to accommodate the new content and everything, while also making sure it all was still consistent with the vision. The presentation is great. They just knocked that out of the park. The gameplay is great. Like, we didn't even get to the gunplay. Like, what I like about the gunplay in this game is rather than having to switch from a melee weapon to your gun, the melee weapon is always equipped, and to pull out your gun, you just hold one of the buttons, and he pulls out his gun and aims it. So it's seamless. Resource management is great. Level design is great. Difficulty is just right. Some boss fights at the end that kind of suck notwithstanding. And there's a good chunk of game here too. Like, it takes about 20 hours to get through, which I thought was going to be a concern.
Wow.
But every moment of it is just, as you said, gripping. So yeah, the Silent Hill 2 remake, it's fantastic. If someone wanted to get into the Silent Hill series, this is where I would send them. So, yeah, highly recommend it. Disappointed you don't want to see more of it.
Well, I mean,
but I understand. It's okay.
maybe in the broad daylight.